What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review what might be a debut, but definitely a 2006 mixtape by the Florida rapper Blood Raw. Basically, this product is called Indictment Papers, and it came out in the fall of 2006. So the thing about Blood Raw is just the fact that he was formerly an affiliate of USDA, which was Young Jeezy's group back in the mid 2000s. As far as those pitches kind of happened, he was on a number of mixtapes with Jeezy, particularly one of which was Can't Ban the Snowman. Now some of these type atmospheres I haven't reviewed. It's actually been a little while since I've reviewed Blood Raw. The last real time I touched base with Blood Raw was probably back in early 2023. It was probably back in early 2023 or late 2022 as far as those pitches kind of happened. I reviewed Blood Raw's debut album, My Life, The True Testimony, back in late 2022, and I reviewed the USD album in 2023 in addition to Can't Ban the Snowman by Jeezy back in those days. But it's a particular pitch because this is an affiliation with Jeezy around this particular time. So Jeezy is on here at least once. The unfortunate thing is he's not on here as much as he was on Slick Pull's mixtape, but it's still a good concept. Blood Raw particularly stood on his own. The thing about it is Blood Raw, like I was saying when I reviewed his album, was able to put out an album unlike Slick Pull. So it just seemed like he had a little bit more mass appeal compared to Slick Pull within those pitches. But yeah, this is a Gangsta Girls tape, so this is by DJ Drama. This is hosted by DJ Drama and pitches like that. I don't remember the last DJ Drama mixtape that I reviewed as far as those pitches gonna happen. I know that they've been kind of chalked in here as far as those pitches gonna happen, but I don't know the last time I designated the fact that I reviewed some of these. This kind of concept, I've been reviewing so many mixtapes that this is kind of within the pitch behind it, but this is a Gangsta Girls extra as far as those pitches gonna happen. Excellent type fare here. Might as well be an album. This is basically a classic mixtape here, another stock type one to kind of get another classic mixtape 2000. Another classic mixtape 2000s type fare. Just feels like a Jeezy mixtape or a Rick Ross mixtape. Kind of a meld of those two. Really the aspect. Jeezy and Slick Polo were from Atlanta, but basically Blood Raw was from Florida, possibly even Miami as far as those pitches kind of happen. So it's just a concept that you get some of that. I definitely think there are some odes to Rick Ross type flair on here. Definitely folks like Rick Ross, Pitbull, and DJ Khaled, some of those type folks in particular. So that's a good concept. So if you do like that Miami-Dade type, Pink Skies type sheen, that 80s Miami Vice type flair, just within the 2000s type pitch, like Rick Ross Hustlin era, definitely some excellent type fare to kind of get this on here. It's got that in spades. It's an excellent type fare. It's almost like a forgotten about concept, taking it back to 2006 Rick Ross, 2006 Pitbull, 2006 DJ Khaled, I'd have to say. Excellent type fare. So yeah, this is some excellent typeness just to get here. Pretty much all on the cusp of getting a classic score. I'd have to say just within the aspect behind it. Really appreciate the appeal behind it. So just I'd say there's 19 songs in this particular mixtape. And the thing about it is right now is this is actually a pretty tough to track down mixtape just within the pitch behind it, just because the Internet Archive, right as I was getting ready to download this mixtape, the Internet Archive got hacked and pitches like that. So that's the only website that you can get this particular mixtape, which is unfortunate. Luckily, it is on YouTube, so I was able to review it. But the concept about it is, in terms of being able to secure it, to pull it off the internet as far as a little bit more, it's just kind of the concept that as of this point, the availability is just very scarce, I'd have to say. Now, you might, depending upon how the aspect kind of goes about it, you might actually be able to purchase this particular product, but I'm just kind of looking after it, just being able to say, just within the aspect, it seems less, more. I mean, there is like a retail version of Indictment Papers that was released in 2007 that is like a purchasable, but I just think the mixtape version of this is better. It switches up the songs and has some ones on there that are not on this particular mixtape. So yeah, I'm reviewing the 2006 mixtape, not the 2007 album. So if you're looking for the 2007 album, I probably won't review that version just because I think this is the better buy, just within the aspect behind it. This has the better gems and this is the more hungry type stuff. But just being able to say there's some good fare. So basically out of 19 songs on here, there's really only 3 songs I don't recommend. And those 3 songs would just be American Dream, I Love My Niggas, and My Way featuring T-Pain. So basically, I just would have to say American Dream and I Love My Niggas just didn't really have the production type fare. These are both kind of just in-between type ones that just didn't nail the overall appeal behind it. Just felt like the execution behind these was just not as comprised as they relatively needed to be. Particularly I Love My Niggas just kind of felt like just a worse version of like Ghetto Stars and pitches like that, I just would have to say. And then I look after it. My Way with T-Pain was a large disappointment. Now, I like the aspect, considering the fact that both T-Pain and Blood Raw are from Florida, just within the pitch, it made sense that T-Pain would be on this particular mixtape. I look after it's a good pitch to kind of get T-Pain on mixtape type fare just because he was album quality back in like the mid-late 2000s. So it's just kind of the concept of being able to say that he does not have vocoder on this particular song. He sings in a more traditional sense, like songs like Studio Love and some of those type pitches, but there's two notches to this particular song. I wanted to like this song because normally a hook from T-Pain in the mid-2000s is gold for me just within the pitch. That's usually something that just means an automatic highlight, but this is one that just doesn't do it as much. It's just more traditional, kind of homely, kind of R&B type sense. This is not a club song. This is not a dance song, anything like that. It's just basically a homely type one, just talking about the struggle and like standard pain and some of that type fare, just getting through with standard living as far as those pitches kind of happen. T-Pain just sings from a little bit more from the gut and from the heart as far as those pitches kind of happen, but you just look after the aspect behind it. It's just a little bit more personable, but the unfortunate thing is it just doesn't pull out the vibes with the compellingness about it. I just feel like T-Pain nailing this particular type of song just needed to be a little bit more interesting. Same thing with Blood Raw. It's low. I mean, I don't know. It just was more lounge-ish around the house comparatively to what I would have wanted. I really didn't like the production on this particular song either. Just really felt like a lazy kind of Sunday afternoon. Just didn't have the appeal. At least the song It Feels Good nailed it a little bit better, because that was at least some barbecue type music pitches like that, but I just look after the tone my way, just didn't nail it. I tried to like that song, I really did, but I just wasn't able to. But and the other two songs were just more in-between type, more Aaron's type music that just didn't nail it. But yeah, so just being able to say there's at least seemingly 7 new songs as far as those pitches going to happen. So the 7 songs that I recommend that I'm going to actually talk about with descriptions would be From a City, Dope Boy, Indictment Papers, the title track, D-Boy Shit, Ghetto Star, I'm Ready, and It Feels Good, just within those pitches. There are some songs on here. Jeezy's only appearance is on the song Stuntin' Like My Homies, which is basically just a typical mixtape remix to like a mixtape freestyle and such to Stuntin' Like My Daddy by Lil Wayne and Birdman, as far as those pitches going to happen. Fuck 'Em All has Slick Polo on here, at least one. Slick Polo shows up at least. Well, actually Jeezy shows up on here twice, but it's just off the other song You Dig. But Fuck 'Em All is just basically like Fuck 'Em All is a pretty nice rendition of a remix to Hustlin' music by Lil Wayne, so it's a real aspect. So I wanted to kind of get their Hustlin' music from the Carter too. Real excellent type pitch, good spin on that. You Dig from Can't Ban the Snowman is on this particular project. I'm going to count the score as to that one because it is a pretty good bop to kind of get that one, but that's just kind of concept. There's at least 6 songs that are kind of mixtape freestyles and just standard mixtape type fare, like Lil Wayne and some of those type folks, Jeezy, some of those type folks that did that sort of thing. And I recommend all those. They're just good concepts. Remixes to like Lil Wayne, and remixes to some Lil Wayne songs like I Miss My Dogs, and like there's a DJ Khaled song in there, a Birdman and Lil Wayne song, some of those type pitches. Just some good concepts, kind of get some of those. And then there's 3 songs from other albums, which would be the songs Gangsta Shit, Born and Raised, and then You Dig, like I was saying. So You Dig is from Can't Ban the Snowman, which is actually on a mixtape, but still you can get that on Can't Ban the Snowman. Gangsta Shit is from the DJ Khaled 2006 album, and then Born and Raised, which is kind of like a mixtape freestyle. I don't think Blood Raw was on the original Born and Raised song that was on DJ Khaled's album, but it's a good pitch to kind of get that one. So I guess there'd be 7 mixtape songs just within the pitch, but still a good concept. So, but yeah, I'm just going to talk about some of these. So one of the best songs on this particular mixtape is Indictment Papers, the title track. It's a very hypnotic but brooding, kind of typical night rumination, I'd have to say. A paranoid type song to get, has a great beat, and it's a very emphatic glare about this particular one. This really feels like something real hypnotic type pitch to be able to get here, just really change the pace from the rest of this. Most of this is just kind of more summer lace and just the concept of like swim trunk type music, standard kind of Hawaiian shirts and suntans as far as those pitches going to happen. Hella Swisher Sweet, some of that type fare, but I look after this, some excellent type concepts going to get here. Ghetto Star is a pretty nice one. This is like an in-between kind of slumish, kind of local trekking to kind of get just some night trek or just some late day kind of strolls as far as those pitches going to happen. This is very smoggish, kind of preoccupied vibes about this particular one. This one kind of goes hand in hand with Indictment Papers, the same sort of concept, but just being a little bit preoccupied and dismantled this within the pitch. Kind of a ruffled day, I'd have to say, but it is pretty good Aaron's tune to kind of get here. So it's just kind of the concept of just having busybody type flair just within the pitch behind it, just the aspect of getting some stuff done, getting some shit done within those aspects as far as that particular kind of happens. Standard errands and local trekking, just smoke one on the way if you're able to, pitches like that just within the tone, just kind of the concept of this kind of a relative, yeah, it's kind of a cloudy or just smoggish type day just within the aspect of whether you're just kind of just not in the mood today or just pitches like that. It's just a good concept for that. I'm Ready is a nice one. This is like a stellar kind of Don Cannon mixtape soul to kind of get here. This is like typical kind of fare like most mixtape folks from like the mid 2000s kind of did. You've heard songs like this like from Jeezy and from folks like Jeezy, Slick Polo, Lil Wayne, some of those type folks. All those folks that did like those DJ Drama hosted mixtapes back in the mid 2000s. Rick Ross, even some of those type folks. Or well, Rick Ross didn't do DJ Drama, but mid 2000s type fare, just Chipmunk Soul, some of that typeness to kind of get. It's like a local kind of lace up, house cleaning type music, just to be able to get local errands, some of that type fare. It's like some solid kind of Wednesday music. I would definitely feel like this middle of the week, this kind of in between primer, just as far as those aspects kind of happen. This would definitely be a primer for later on hype to kind of get to as far as those aspects kind of happen. Just the concept the concept of, yeah, it's Wednesday, but by the time it's just the excitement of saying, yeah, I've got to go to sleep bored tonight, but the basic concept is in a couple days I'm going to get crunk as hell as far as those pitches kind of happen. Just a good pitch for as far as that particular kind of goes. It Feels Good is a pretty nice one, as well as like a sunny kind of summer backyard festivity to kind of get here. It's like some smokish with like some tasty barbecue. I'd feel like something of that relative nature, some wings or some hot wings, something like that, some good concepts, some hamburgers, cheeseburgers, some of that type fare. Hella good stuff, steaks, some of that type goodness to kind of get, and it's like some good vibe music and chit chat type tone to kind of get. It's a pretty good aspect to get Sean J from Field Mob, a member of Field Mob's on this particular song. I need to get to them as far as that particular kind of happens. Just some good concepts, just to be able to have some backyard type music for like a sunny kind of June or July day. As far as those aspects kind of happen. And there's two songs that pay some homage to Rick Ross's Hustlin', which was of course like a huge kind of Florida anthem in like the mid 2000s. So both From a City and Dope Boy are kind of within that pitch. From a City is like a smog like kind of slummish evening, I'd have to say. Just a commute, just some slummish kind of evening commute. I would definitely feel like it's a more chill version of Rick Ross's Hustlin', definitely. And this is just like some vintage kind of Miami here. So it just has like those sailing kind of organs just within that same type of pitch. Just basically like if Hustlin' is more of like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd probably say that From a City is just more of like 5:30, 6:30 pitches like that. Still relatively sunny, but just kind of within the aspect a little bit more just like cloudy and smogish, I'd have to say. And then Dope Boys within the same fashion. It's like a hella glazed kind of Miami sunset, sunshine. Dope Boys like a hella glazed kind of Miami sunset, sunshine type song to kind of get here. Basically pink skies kind of cruise around. I would definitely feel like smoke up and kind of appreciate like the scenic beauty of this particular one. So if you do just like looking at sunsets, some of that type fare, just standard outings, just within the pitch of being able to have some times behind it, and just basic kind of simple cruise around, just smoking Swisher Sweets and like the sunny skies, some pitches like that, or the sunset skies, just some of that type fare, just enjoying like the Florida heat and some of that typeness, just to be able to appreciate standard suntan and bikini type music for the chicas as far as that pitch kind of happens. Just some good aspects, I'd have to say. So yeah, pretty overall vicious type mixtape to kind of get here, just within the aspect behind it. Just delivers on all fronts. The mixtape songs, the original songs, and then the album cuts that are on other projects all hit pretty heavily. So just within the concept, just with like the mild 3 scratches to this album, just within the aspect of the ones that don't deliver. Basically 16 out of 19, minus the fact that there are just 2.5 songs like Born and Raised, I want to say, is just like a mixtape song. So there's really only 2 songs. Just the two DJ, just the DJ Khaled song, and then the Can't Ban the Snowman song. They're on other projects. So basically, approximately you're getting 14 out of 19 songs that have some original type candor to them. So yeah, this mixtape is going to get a 9.75 out of 10. Just really enjoyed it. Just real classic home run type pitch to kind of get. Just appreciate the summer kind of glaze just within the pitch behind it. It's basically like a more pink skies. It's more evening bound and just a little bit more glaze type aspect of Rick Ross's Port of Miami, where I feel like Port of Miami is just more amidst like, in some fashions, Port of Miami is just kind of seedy nightlife in addition to sunny skies like Hustlin' and Push It to the Limit, some of those type ones. But it definitely pays homage to Rick Ross, Pitbull, DJ Khaled, some of those type folks. Does it in like a hungry mixtape type format because Blood Raw was kind of on the come up. Has some mild kind of Jeezy affiliation on this particular product, and this is like a bounty of good Miami-Dade type quality, just with an aspect of that particular pink skies kind of sheen. So some good concepts there. The social score, that's kind of tricky. I think I'll give the social score like a 9 out of 10, just because I look after the aspect behind it. This has some good gems on here, but in terms of like a standout kind of song that would be like something that would be like basically like Blood Raw's like Hustlin' or something like that, or Chevy Riding High, or like Trap or Die by Jeezy, one of those type of ones that just is like the bring it home kind of bop on here. I just don't know about in terms like a buzz single that's just going to connect with like the most kinetic attention. Basically one of Blood Raw's biggest songs even to this day is Louie off of his 2008 album, but he doesn't really have like a kind of attention grabbing type ones. Not to say this album is bad, it's just kind of concept that a lot of these are just stock album cuts with that vicious kind of sunny quality more so than anything else. And probably needed a night. I'm not complaining that it doesn't have a nightclub song, but it probably just needed like some nightclub pizzazz on here or something like that. But yeah, so 9 Social. In terms of the future, like Blood Raw, I'm not really as full blown sure as to what he's been up to in recent times. I'd have to say I just look after it. I know he's not affiliated with Jeezy anymore, and it's probably been since like the late 2000s or early 2010s since he has been, but he has dropped a number of projects. I know he's at least put out his second album that came out in 2012 that was not on Jeezy's label, and he probably has some other albums since 2012 obviously I'd look after, but it's just kind of within the concept. I'm definitely going to get to some more of these, but yeah, this is virtually like a classic mixtape, just a real helmed and aspected disc quality, superb kind of DJ drama Gangsta Grills tape. Blood Raw really comes through on this particular project. There's some sunny skies, pink skies kind of glaze on here that just hits really heavily.